Hi, I'm Cedric. Welcome to Saved by the Truth. This is where we discover the truth. Not my truth, not your truth, but the truth as it stands alone. The truth as it actually is. Today we're going to talk about a really fundamental question that everyone should inquire about, not just take what I say in this video to be true, but just inquire for your own experience. And that question is, what is the nature of our human experience? What is the reality of our human experience? And how does discovering this reality allows you to actually transcend the matrix, transcend the suffering, the daily sufferings that we experience, and break free out of the hold that the world has on you? Stay tuned. So, we're going to start with the fundamental reality. So, we're going to start with before we were born. How was it before we were born, right? Uh, you probably felt the experience of nothingness, the experience of emptiness, the experience of void, right? And they say that the universe has existed for 13 trillion years. And so that's 13 trillion years that you didn't exist. Did you miss the world for 13 trillion years? Right? Could you even fathom the world to miss it in the first place? Right? And then they say that you were born. And so let's come back to this being born. What is it? What does it actually mean? You see, they'll tell you that being born is when your mother pushed you out of her stomach, right? And this is you being born. But if you look into your own experience, what does being born actually mean? Being born means that you have become conscious. So let's say, for example, the lights are off, right? We turn off the light and then now we turn it on again. So being conscious means the lights are now on, right? You woke up. Waking up means you became conscious, right? So you don't remember coming out of your mom's stomach, right? That's something that's told to you. What you know, according to your experience, is that you just woke up into this world. You became conscious, right? So this is the first point that I want to talk about, that it all begins with consciousness. Your being born is the birth of consciousness. So, what then is consciousness? We defined how it arises, but what is it? What is it in terms of our experience? So, I want to shine light on that. Consciousness is essentially the experience of your five senses. That's right. So your ability to see your sight, smell, taste, hearing, feeling, right? All these encompass what you call being conscious or what you call your reality. You don't believe me? Well, let's do it this way, right? Let's say I was able to take away your sight. So now you can't see anything, right? But you still kind of feel like you exist. You can hear things. You can taste, smell. You can feel things, right? Well, let's say I take away your sense of hearing. You can't hear anything now. And then boom, I take away your sense of smell. You can't smell anything. And then boom, take away your sense of taste. You can't taste anything. So now you can't you can't see, you can't hear at all. It's like nothing exists right now. You can't smell, you can't taste, but you can still feel, right? Because I haven't taken your sense of feeling away. So you can still feel yourself, right? And then boom, I take away your sense of feeling. Now you can't feel anything. You can't see. There's nothing for you to see, nothing for you to hear, nothing for you to smell, taste, or feel. You can't even feel yourself to feel like you even exist here at all, right? So when I take away all of your senses, your sense of existence disappears. Meaning that what you call existing, what you call living life, is merely your five senses, right? So that's what I want to touch on. Consciousness means five senses, right? So I'm gonna make it equal to five senses, right? So without your five senses, you would not be conscious, or you would not label yourself to be conscious. Okay, so I drew this here to represent what I'm sharing with you here. So you're first conscious, then you're experiencing your five senses, right? So you start seeing things, right? You see the world, you see trees, the grass, oceans, mountains. This is the world, right? And the world is only being perceived through your five senses. So even the world that you say that you function in, all of this is only being perceived with your five senses. If I wipe out your five senses, I wipe out the world for you, right? So the world doesn't exist without you experiencing it with your five senses. And it is your five sense experience that you call consciousness, right? So, first, you're awake, you're born, which is you becoming conscious. And this conscious experience exists within the five sense realm. And it is only within the five sense realm do you experience something called the world. All right. So I wanted to touch on this. The world isn't something that exists by itself. The world is merely your own personal experience, right? Even though you see something outside, even outside exists within you, right? It looks like there are other things here. But what if I told you this experience is appearing in me? You want me to prove it to you? Well, let's remove your faculties. Then you will not experience it, right? Even now, right? The light, what we call pictures, doesn't exist. Light comes into my eyes, and then my mind creates a picture based on that light. So the pictures aren't appearing by themselves outside. My mind is creating those pictures that I call the world, that I can interact with, right? My mind creates the sense of distance, right? But that distance that I'm experiencing is also a projection of my mind. It's not something that exists in and out of itself, or neither can I confirm it to exist in and out of itself, right? Everything that I experience, everything that I know, even if I went to college, I got my PhD, it's all gotten by using my five senses, which I could not have access without being conscious, right? So I hope I've made I'm making myself clear here that there is no such thing as the world. Your consciousness does not exist within the world, but rather the world exists within consciousness. So I want to depict this by showing you this. So imagine this is the world, right? This is the world that you're experiencing. This is what you call the world, right? Uh, in it, there are trees, right? Trees here. I think that's a nice tree there. There are mountains, right? There's oceans, water, rivers. Then there's things that we normally experience, like pain, right? Pain, pleasure, your parents, your spouse, your kids, whatever, right? All of this is experienced within the world. Also, there's yourself, right? You know, right? There's yourself in the world. But this circle here, what I just drew, imagine this to really be your consciousness, right? So first you become conscious, bing, right? And within consciousness, you experience what you call the world. You experience what you call yourself as a person. You experience what you call other things as other people, other trees, other objects, other this and that. All of that exists within the world. When, for example, when you go to sleep, when consciousness, let's say, for example, turns off, all of this shuts down. You have no sense of yourself, no sense of the world, no sense of anything. When you wake up, bing, now the world has come back alive. It's like turning on the TV and then boom, you see a bunch of characters, a vast world within the TV. But really, this vast world is appearing on the screen of the TV. When you turn off the TV, somehow this vast world disappears. Where did it go? Right? And then you turn it on and it comes back again. So that's what I wanted to share. The world exists within consciousness. Consciousness does not exist within the world. So let's come back to the core of your suffering, to the core of all your problems. So the core of your problems is that you believe that you are a person inside of the world. And that's how the matrix gets you. The matrix wants you to believe that you are just a tiny dot inside of the vast universe. And only by making you feel like this tiny dot, only then can it control you. I mean, notice how it feels to be this tiny dot, right? It feels insecure, small, like, just a baby that can just be devoured by anything, right? And this sense of smallness brings about a sense of lack. And with this sense of lack, with this sense of insecurity, comes the sense of the need for protection, right? Only then do you feel like you need the world, right? So first, again, you must believe you're this person inside of a world in order to be in the matrix. That's what the matrix means. The matrix means to be a person inside of the world. That is the definition of a matrix. So let me give you a good example of this, of what it is like to be stuck in the matrix. Imagine you go to sleep and you find yourself in a dream with another body experiencing a dream. right? And let's say you wake up the next morning. What happened to this body? Notice that when you were dreaming, you took yourself to be this body inside of the dream, right? Maybe, I had a dream the other day that, I had a kid, a few kids, and a wife, a family, and everything. And I remember I loved my kids. I remember tucking my little one in for good night, rocking him to sleep. And the next thing I remember is waking up and I'm here, right? And this family that I just spent a lifetime, developing and growing and living, now was just a dream and it no longer exists. Do I cry for my children in the dream? Do I make a memorial for them? Right? So, in a sense, we can call this matrix like a dream. We just woke up here in the same way you just wake up inside of a dream. And notice that when you wake up inside of a dream, you have a body within that dream, which you identify yourself as, right? And what I want to share with you is the body within the dream belongs to the dream world. When you wake up, it's not the body in that dream that somehow gets out of the dream and then comes back to reality, right? That body stays in that dream, right? So all along, right, you took yourself to be that body, but you weren't that body. Whatever that body experienced, whatever that body owned, when you wake up, you can take any of that with you. In the same way, when you became conscious, when you were born, right? You were born and woke up as this body, right? You didn't choose to be this body. You didn't choose to, uh, you know, uh, they say my race is black. I didn't choose to be black, right? And, I'm sure, if you're white, you didn't choose to be white. If you're Mexican, you didn't choose to be Mexican. It's not like before you were born, you chose your avatar, what you're going to be. Because if you could, you'd probably make yourself 6'4" with some nice abs, looking good. You designed yourself, right? But you didn't design yourself. So this one that you call your body, whatever, this one who is talking is not you. It isn't you. All right. I once told this to someone. Imagine you're dreaming and you're being chased by Frankenstein. Oh, right. You're running. Frankenstein is chasing you, right? He's going to eat you or whatever, right? And I have I had a question for him. Imagine you're in that situation. Do you want me to kill Frankenstein, get him and put him in a chokehold, put him to sleep? Or would you want me to wake you up, wake you out of your dream? Which one is more powerful? If I kill Frankenstein, well, then there's going to be something else to eat you, something else that you're afraid of, right? And we're going to be killing things all day and for the rest of your life. But if I wake you out of your dream, both Frankenstein and any future problems are gone. So in the same way, you came into this world through consciousness, meaning you became conscious of this world, right? From being conscious, right, you are experiencing a world, right? And notice that in my example earlier, You only experience the world through your five senses. So even your experience of this body is only through your five senses. If I remove your five senses, you wouldn't experience yourself as a body at all. You wouldn't experience anything. You wouldn't have a sense of self. Your sense of self comes from the five senses. So, the moment you come into this realization that you are not this person you take yourself to be, you are not this body at all, right? Why? Why is this important? All of your fears, everything you are afraid of comes from this body, right? If you're afraid of death, what does it mean? You're afraid of this body dying, right? If you're afraid to go hungry, you mean this, you're afraid this body will go hungry. So whatever happens to this body means it's going to happen to you. But I am here to share with you the good news. Whatever happens to this body, nothing is going to happen to you. You are not this body. Okay? You're not. All of your fears are based on this. This is how the matrix gets you. The moment you identify yourself as this body, boom, you're a slave to the matrix. You're stuck. Not that your body is stuck. Well, yeah, your body is stuck in this world. But because you have stuck yourself to this body, and because this body is stuck to this world forever, now you are stuck to this world. To transcend this body, you must first wake out of this body and come into your true self. Only then can you come back into this world, even as a body, but know that you are not a body, meaning experiencing this world while knowing the truth of yourself. Meaning, whatever happens to this body, you know that nothing is going to happen to you, which is the end of all of your fears, all of your sufferings, all of your trials and tribulations. Next time, I am going to share something with you. How do you wake up out of this dream? How do you wake up? Stay tuned and I'll share that with you. Thank you again for watching. This is Saved by the Truth. Let me know down the comments below. Is this something you knew before? What does it trigger for you? And do you disagree with me? Share that with me. What are your thoughts on the nature of your own reality? Do you really take yourself to be this body? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you. I love every one of you, and I'll see you next time.